Alright, another quick bonus video going up because I just watched A Quiet Place Part 2 the other day and don't have a whole lot to say about it, but trying to flood the channel with lots of content at launch. So let's talk about it. Couple things I should get out of the way first. Number one, I have found that I am very influenced by the general talk about a movie. So if everyone is saying that a movie that I haven't seen is great, fantastic, amazing, wonderful, if that's all that I hear and I go and it does not blow me away, I have a negative feeling towards that movie because I had this big buildup in my head, and it's not something I do intentionally. I don't go out and try to hype myself up for movies, but when just in passing, everyone talks about how great something is, and then I go see it, and there's no, it's fine, it's good, whatever. But when everyone's talking about, oh, it's amazing, and then I go see it and I don't think it's amazing, I feel deflated. And it works the other way too. When people talk about a movie and they're like, oh, this is garbage, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, oh, I can't believe they made this, oh, it's so bad, and then I go see it and I'm like, this is fine. There's not any worse than any of the other things, right? And so I'm aware of it, but I can't not be affected by it. It's one of those weird things where I'm aware that it's happening, I know that it's happening, but I don't know how to turn it off. So, Quiet Place, the first one, huge response. People talking about it all the time, talking about how great it was. Oh my goodness, it was so amazing. And I didn't see it in theaters. I bought it a while later, and I'm watching it. And I got 3 big problems with the movie. And they're, if I liked the movie better, I would have been okay with it. But because I had this high expectation, and it wasn't meeting those expectations, these things stick out to me. So my 3 big problems, and these are not unique to me. People talk about these too, but 1, why don't you just live by the waterfall? That seems like the obvious thing to do. That's the safest place to be. Live there. Move away from your house. Number 2, sometimes sound attracts these monsters. Sometimes it doesn't. And I'll come back to that in a minute. And number 3, why would you have a baby? Why would you do that? Be smarter. Think about your actions. Not a good idea. So I didn't love the first movie. I don't hate it. I don't think it's as good as everyone says. And I don't know. I guess something about the way my brain works, it's like, this movie has enough fans. I don't need to be one of them. So I guess I'll talk about, why I don't like it. I'm a contrarian, I guess, in that sense, where someone's like, oh, Quiet Place was so good. I was like, really? Really? It was good? Why didn't they live at the water? And so maybe that's just the kind of person I am, and maybe that's its own separate problem. But wasn't a big fan of the first movie. So I wasn't really hyped for the second part. I saw a trailer. I didn't seek out trailers. And I heard some people talking about it, not nearly as much as the first one, although people aren't going out to the movies as much right now as they were when the first one came out. But I had heard generally good things, but not amazing things. And I think the vibe I got was, if you liked the first one, you'll probably like this one. And I was like, well, I didn't like the first one, so what's that going to mean? So I went and saw it, and it was fine. It was fine. There weren't any new issues in this movie that gave me as many problems as the issues in the first movie did. Some of those issues are still present in this movie, but it's like, if you can buy into the first movie, I don't think there's anything that's going to break you in the second movie. I probably enjoyed it more than the first one. But I was talking with a friend about my 3 problems with the first one, and apparently these are things that other people have talked about and addressed, and, again, it's one of those things, I am a Marvel fan, right? I like Marvel movies, so when people point out flaws and nitpicks, my brain goes to work to figure those things out. So I get it. Other people like the movie. They've got explanations for those things. They figured those out. I don't buy it. Because I didn't like the movie, right? And it's an objective thing. It's not purely, right or wrong. So if you're on board with the stuff from the first movie, you'll probably like the second movie. I had problems accepting some of the things in the first movie, but it's less of a problem in the second one, so I think I enjoyed it more. Particularly the one that I mentioned with some noises bring in monsters and some noises don't. And the main response to that I heard was the monsters aren't always around. So not every sound is going to attract them. So that's how that works. And my response was, if the monsters happen to not be around when an animal makes a sound for the sake of a jump scare, but then a little bit later the human makes a sound and now the monster is within earshot, to me that feels like lazy writing. And, I don't know how the monsters work. Maybe they got closer after the first noise, and then they were able to dial it in more after the second one, but, we don't know how they work, and I don't want them to sit and explain to me how they work, so it's kind of a lose-lose. So again, if you can buy into it, you'll probably enjoy it. I didn't buy into it, but there weren't as many issues for me in the second one, so I don't have much more to say. That's my opinion on A Quiet Place, both Part 1 and Part 2. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.